Hey everybody, good morning. So you can let me know either um, maybe on the live feed if you're joining right now, if you can hear me okay. Um, we're going to need one block for practice, at least one block, and if you don't have one block, I invite you to get a towel. We've been doing that since the beginning of our fun virtual journey and quarantine time. So you could take a bath towel and you could roll it up and give it enough height that it looks about as high as a block would present. And we'll get started in about 3 minutes. Just about a minute after the hour to give us a little more time. Ooh, change the frame. Here I am. Hi. So my husband just wrote, nice shirt. This is the Flesh Tones. It's my brother-in-law, hence my husband's brother's band. They're a band that's been together for about 35 years, no biggie. And if you are ready to go, if you've got your water and all your nice things of support that help you through the practice, including your prop. Some people bring essential oils into the mix. Feel free. Whatever it is that lights it up for you. If you're ready to go, you can start on your back body and just find your Shavasana. I'll give it one more minute. The playlist today, by the way, is on Spotify with my handle name, my friend Simonee, and it is YIN, Sunday, August 2nd. And I'll let you know when you can get that started, give or take. It doesn't have to be exactly when I say go, but it is a playlist curated for today's practice. You guys know what oxytocin is? It's known as the cuddle hormone. People that know me know that I watch a Sunday morning program every Sunday. I get up pretty early because on the West Coast it starts at about 6 a.m. And they have a bunch of news stories that they do. Usually feel good kind of segments. And it turns out that oxytocin hormone is the cuddle hormone that we've been missing because we haven't been hugging these days. So as a result, you can look it up. The New York Times has released a kind of diagram and how to hug in a safe manner with your masks on. And as crazy as it sounds, if you're feeling a little off among all the things that are going on, that might be one of them. That might be one of the reasons that, one of the things that you can address. So that's my invitation for the day, is to find that diagram. It literally shows you how you can hug somebody with both of the people wearing masks. And seems we're missing that right now. So cut yourself some slack if you're feeling a little under the weather, a little achy in the heart. We're going to get started, guys, for this yin practice today. Thanks for joining me. Get on your back body. Before you get on your back body, actually, or if you're using this playlist, you can hit play in the next 4, 3, 2, Yin Sunday, August 2nd, and 1. Have your props handy. Come into your Shavasana with your palms facing up. I always think of palms facing up as being open, but there's this external rotation that actually happens in the shoulders. So it's not only that your physical body is open, or your heart body is open, I should say, but it's that your physical body is open too. Because when you have the palms facing down, your shoulders kind of close up a bit, and hence the pathway into the chest. And you're just coming into the honesty of your body today. If it's a heavy heart, it's a heavy heart. If you've been missing that cuddle hormone, acknowledge that. If you did a long run or a workout, acknowledge the feelings in your physical body for that. And if you're not sure how you feel about anything, then that's something to acknowledge too. Come into the honesty of your space. Take about 5 more breaths here. And then take a big inhale and get to the top of that inhale and hold the breath to kind of gather the space in your body. Hold. And exhale out the mouth and get to the bottom of the exhale, the very bottom, and hold on empty. Hold. And then take another big inhale, 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 maybe a little more. Hold at the top. And then exhale, get to the bottom. Hold at the bottom of empty. And then a smooth inhale through the nose. And a slow but steady exhale through the nose as you come to a rhythm of breath. On your next inhale, step 1 foot at a time onto the mat. Bring the soles of the feet together like prayer hands and put the knees wide. Maybe slide the feet up or down to make more space for the opening of this stretch. Palms still facing up. Supta Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Maybe one knee's higher than the other. As much as you notice anything in your body, you're just noticing it, not trying to perfect it necessarily. And maybe you look straight up into what's available to you. Maybe it's the ceiling in your home. Maybe it's the blue sky outside. But there's a sense of looking past it into the possibility beyond it. And that's what we take with us into the next few breaths here. Things aren't always what we can just see, right? Almost always that is the fact that there is something beyond that. And so what is beyond? What is possible? What fills up your heart and your cup that emotional cup. As we linger in the space of this shape, it might be sweet to soften the gaze or close the eyes. To soften the jaw deliberately, space between the upper and lower jaw. And if you're having at all any trouble just lingering and giving yourself up to this, maybe make it so that you just follow the breath. You inhale for the count of 4. Maybe you see the numbers. You exhale for the count of 5. And if there's any job at all to have, it's just to follow that breath so that you're able to linger in this shape. I'm going to travel through the next 5 breaths. Through that whole exhale, can you feel for how your body grounds a little more to the mat and maybe the space beyond the mat, the possibility of just moving through. For the last couple of breaths, as you inhale, get to the top and hold. Hold. Out the mouth, exhale. Get to the bottom and hold. 2, 1. Inhale, inhale, get to the top. Maybe slide in another sip. Hold. Hold. Exhale out the mouth. Feel the heaviness of the body. Maybe exhale a little bit more. And then a regular but soft and steady inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Take your hands to your outer thighs. Close your knees like a sweet book. Feel for the feedback through the inner legs. Ground into that. Reach for your prop, whether it's your block or your towel. And then pick up your bum. Pelvis pushes up as you push down into the feet. And put your prop, the block would be at a medium height underneath the sacrum. So if you're making that towel kind of be like the block, it might have a little extra buffer to it to get a little higher through the pelvic floor. And if it feels right, try bringing these arms overhead, an initial reach through the fingers, and then a kind of real soft, supple bend through the arms so that you can really relax through the upper space of your shoulders and the space across your chest. Move through 10 breaths in the quiet of your body. And again, if we see the sky or the ceiling up above, there's something beyond that to see, to vision for. I'm going to take the character of this shape and this stretch a little deeper. So I've got options here. And the first option and the most accessible option might be long legs and your heels resting wide to the mat so that you get a little deeper into the expression of the hips opening up here. But if you want to even go for something a little deeper than that, coming out of bent legs, you would step your left foot a little closer to your left glute bum cheek, and you would take your left hand to the left ankle. And you tuck your left toes, so your left shoelaces are on the mat, and your left big toe is pointing up to your spine. And that would give you a kind of character in the opening of your left hip. And you try and relax your left knee pretty heavy down towards the floor. And if you've tucked your left toes, your left shoelaces facing flat to the mat, your arms can be overhead again with a nice big bend through the elbows. And you could take the stretch even further to lengthen the other leg, which would be the right leg. If it feels like a little bit too much through the lower back, it might be the case that that long leg doesn't want to be long, so the right leg could bend again with the right sole of the foot to the mat. So you've got the option of tucking the toes under, long other leg or bent other leg. And then that first option with both legs long and heels wide and Shavasana-like body. And then trying to find the softness of the ends of your body, so the toes and the fingertips. And if you've got those left toes and left shoelaces to the mat tucked under, finding even the softness in that left knee heavy. For the folks that have the toes tucked under on that left leg, it's a pretty decent opening all the way into that left ankle and even into the foot. So just really visualizing for sending the breath into that space. Almost as though the breath could massage a little bit of that space for you. It's as though the breath kind of hugs those places that are a little more challenged. Sending the oxytocin hormone into those challenged spaces, giving it a bit of a hug by way of your breath. For those with those tucked toes, you're going to travel through about 5 more breaths. Before you switch off to the other side. In preparation of switching to the other side to tuck the right toes under, if your right leg is long, it's going to bend to put the right sole of the foot on the mat. You might already have done that if you felt a little challenged by your lower back space. And just after that 5th breath and completing that breath cycle, you're going to release the left toes from being tucked. You might even lift the left toes off the mat and spread them wide to echo into the ankle space a bit. And then you're going to step the right heel a little closer to your right glute to trade off onto the other side. Tuck your right shoelaces in, guys, so that they're flat to the mat. Feel for the right knee heavy if you're doing that tuck. And again, you can either stay here or lengthen the left leg straight. Or you're in that first option of legs long. If you're in that first option of legs long, there might be a possibility to go a little higher on your prop. Arms at a space, probably overhead is great, but just being aware to keep the pathway of heart open. So going for that expression. Bringing your attention to the whole of your breath in and the whole of your breath out. Because that is what will cuddle up around this shape. That is what will feed the expression of this shape best. trying to gentle the shape by stilling the body and making the movement really exist in the space of your breath. It's the up and down of the belly and the up and down of the chest. That would be anything that echoes movement. If you've got that tucked toe version, right? The right shoelace is tucked under. You're going to be in 5 more breaths. If you've got the long left leg with the tucked toes under, you're going to bend the leg to soften the sole of the left foot down. You'll untuck the toes slow and steady, maybe with the help of your right hand reaching. If you've got your long legs with that first initial option, you're going to bend the legs so that we all meet up where I am right now, soles of the feet to the mat on both feet, knees pointing up. If you have a higher prop underneath your sacrum, you'll come down incrementally. So all of us will be at middle stage, probably, if not higher. I'll come down just a step and pause there. Come down into a step, breathe in and out through the nose. Feel for the feedback of that. And then to release your prop completely from underneath you, press through the feet, lift just a bit, sneak it out. Put the sacrum down onto the mat. Light tuck of the chin, long neck. Step the feet a little wider and knock the knees inward to rest up against one another. And feel for that as a sort of base and pause. Breathe in and out through, especially the lower back and the settling of the hips. You might need to slide your block a little bit out of the way so that you can have space by the side of each hip. Knock your knees there. Bring your feet hip width distance so your knees are hip width distance. And start by crossing your right ankle over your left thigh in a figure number 4. Breathe in there. And then knock both knees to the left as you slowly put your right sole of the foot flat onto probably the space just outside of your mat. So your figure number 4 kind of stays. And you might tee out your arms, guys. And you might look over your right shoulder and just ground here. And it's especially through that exhale that you soften into the glutes. They kind of relax a bit. Our glutes have a tendency to smile and charge. Can you let go a little more? That'd be so fine over here. If you want to take this either a little bit deeper with just a very little yang effort, you'll take your prop, whether it's your block or your towel that's bunched up, and you'll push a little bit to the inside of the right leg. And it might be that even as you hold that prop and push, you could relax your left elbow onto the mat as you do that with your left hand. If you've got this version, take 5 more breaths. And if you don't have this version, take 5 more breaths. After completing those 5 cycles of breaths, if you have your head looking over that shoulder, bring it back to center. If you have your prop, pressed up against the inside of your right leg, release it. Put your palms down, ground as you kind of frame your hips. And then press through the outside of the left ankle to get the legs back up into figure number 4, a little toe heel or heel toe of the left foot into center. Step the right sole of the foot down. You might pause there. You might even lift the bum up to center your hips and your sacrum back down. Breathe in and out through the nose. And then out of that space, go to the other side. So cross your left ankle over your right thigh, figure number 4. You take a deep breath in. And then you just fall the knees, the legs, to the right. So it's the outside of your right ankle onto the floor and the whole of your left foot onto the floor. You might have to adjust a bit through the hips. You can take your arms overhead or tee them out. Essentially finding a bit of space to really open through the heart center. And then you can look over your left shoulder to encourage that. To encourage the whole shape of this supine twist. If you're at all following any story or if you feel a little distracted, try following the breath. Count it in for 4. Count it out for 5. Maybe such a focus on the breath that you see the numbers flashing, and use that as a point of focus, as a point of mindful meditation into this shape and into the journey of your breath. Absolutely make it simple. As you follow your breath, you might move slowly up or down your body to recognize where there's a little bit more heat or charge in the expression of the muscles. And you could utilize your exhale breath just to really kind of turn down the bright light of that, as though you're dimming those spots into a little bit more ease. For the last almost minute or so of this shape, if you want to introduce a little bit of that yang-like stretch like you did to the other side, you take your prop into your right hand. And you'd slowly find a little bit of press into the inside of that left thigh. See if you might be able to find it while resting your right elbow onto the mat. And only be here if it adds to the ease and the expression of this stretch in a healthy way, in a positive way where you can be fluid with the breath. A lot of this practice is about recognizing your perfect fit. That doesn't mean that you actualize everything that's being suggested by your guide, or that you look perfect doing it, but that means that it fits you in the space of experiencing that inhale and exhale. That it fills your cup, not depletes you or challenges you to this space of making you feel uncomfortable to the point of not finding a full breath in and out. So recognize your perfect fit. This is a practice of knowing yourself more deeply, recognizing yourself and your needs. Travel, which means see everything, experience, stop and look. So travel through the next 4 breaths. Before transitioning out of this. If you're looking over your left shoulder to engage in a deeper version of that twist, you'll bring your head back to center slow. If you're holding a prop up to the inside of your left thigh, you'll release that slow. And then bring your hands to palms down, frame the hips. Use that as a bit of grounding as you push through the outside of the right ankle. Get your legs back up. Heel, toe, toe, heel, right sole of the foot onto the mat and center. And then left sole of the foot down. You might lift your hips a bit to ground to center. You might tuck your chin in to elongate the neck body into elongating the spine completely. And then just stay for 1 breath in and out. Pick up the right sole of the foot off the mat to bring your right knee closer to the chest. Feel that. Put the right sole of the foot down. As it puts itself to the floor, you pick up the left sole of the foot without engaging your hands. Bringing the left knee in closer to the chest. Feel that. It's completely natural that it'd be tender through the lower back. Put the left sole of the foot down. And then bring back up the right knee. Hold on with the right hand to shin. And then bring the left knee up. Hold on to left hand to left shin. A light pull and stretch through the lower back. Breathe in and out through the nose. Feel the hands to the knees proper. And a light pull wider through the knees. So it's almost like you're mimicking a bit of what might happen in the legs and inner thighs for happy baby. Option to stay here with just a light hold of hands to knees, or you'll kick up through the feet a bit. You'll grab through the outsides of the feet or the insides of the feet for your version of happy baby. Try and keep a pretty deep bend in the legs so there's a little less doing in your happy baby. And also try and notice for how the lower back might pop off the ground to kind of pick up the bum. And in that, leave that alone. Let your breath and your time here slowly evolve this shape. Follow your body in a way, kind of head to toe, toe to head. And make space for more relax. So notice if you're charging in the arms or pulling through the hands. Try and relax that. The hands are there to hold the feet, not to pull on the feet. And as you relax to this, less pull, less charge, you might find a deeper bend in the legs and heavier heels, almost towards your glutes a little more. That might be a possibility. Just travel through the body in a way where you recognize those pockets of relax. And you allow yourself to meet that place, the knowing of that. Follow only the breath. Especially if you feel the knock of distraction, whether it be the life around us that's getting up to this Sunday, whether it be the stories and the tendencies to follow our distractions. Come back to the pleasure and simplicity of your breath. You're still here getting to know you in this moment. Travel through 5 more breaths. Commit to the cycles of those 5 breaths. And if you consider that you're traveling, you're taking your time to take in the sights of these breaths, what they offer each individual cycle. As a little yang transition out of this, try to bring the soles of the feet together like they're prayer hands. So they become prayer feet. And then try to interlock the fingers on the outsides of the feet and go with that offering to lower your lower back down to the mat and to widen the knees a little more actively. So you know this pose to sit on your bum and do it, but if you could find it on your back body with a little light pull in charge of the arms for deep breath in and deep breath out. As you release out of that, one leg at a time, I want you to go long legs, heels feet wide. Feedback in Shavasana body, palms facing up. Open heart, open shoulders and chest. One more breath in here and one more breath out. Take your time, guys. We're going to roll over onto your side body, and I'm going to ask you to roll over onto the side body that faces your monitor. For me, it's my left side. And just feel your back body be open to space. And breathe into that space that now has a little more space, a little more physical opening. With whatever palm is resting to the ground out in front of your chest body, depending on how you've turned to face your monitor. For me, it's my right palm. Use that and press up. And then ground on your left forearm and get into the very subtle but still important stretch on your side body that was once resting on the mat. For me, it's my left side body. Now you might lengthen your legs to feel something a little more significantly here. And with the body of your head, you're just committing to keep it into a neutral place, however neutral shows up to support this shape. So there should be no real big kinks or feelings of being off track with you. And you're going to use that left forearm or that grounding forearm to feel more stretch. If you feel a ton of sensation here or something that suits you in the way of getting a stretch already, you can stay. Or you can do the last 30 to 40 seconds by pressing into that grounding forearm hand and getting into a deeper stretch that also has you leaning into that left shoulder. In my case, it's the left shoulder. Try and not really charge the legs. So even if they are long, soften them. If that's impossible, micro bend a little more. Stay for one more breath in and out. Don't cheat yourself out of the wholeness of that breath. And if you're up a little higher, come back down to where we started this pose. Make your legs long again as you come down. And extend your top leg out. Yeah? And then you're going to make sure that bottom leg is long and kind of lining up with the length of your torso. And then you're going to come down slow, but try and lie down on your back body into a twist. So there's an invitation to bring the right shoulder down on the ground. Now, it might be the case, guys, that you can reach for that top leg and don't pull it necessarily, but hold it into space. And it might be the case that you bend the bottom leg and you tuck your shoelaces into your right hand to hold, almost like you would hold dancer's pose for a variation of cat pulling its tail here. If you're doing that, just try and ground through the right shoulder or that top shoulder that was once the top shoulder. So basically, both shoulder blades mostly on the mat. That's my friend Django. Hey, Django. Just about 3 more breaths here, not quite as long. If you're holding on to that foot, and those shoelaces tucked into the hand, just be sure you're not trying to pull, but you're just holding it into place. If you're holding on to that foot, let go of that. And allow yourself to roll back onto your side body. Bend that top leg in. And take yourself back to your back body slow. Legs long. Super possible, probably guaranteed that one leg will be longer than the other. Come to the quiet of this shape. This majestic shape that usually informs us of where we're really at and what we really need. One more whole breath in to feel the belly rise up, then the chest. Exhale out the mouth. Roll over onto the other side body. For the purpose of facing you, I'm going to turn myself around. And as you breathe into your side body, guys, maybe practice that space of shoulder blades a little wider through the inhale. Like you're shoving in a bit of space, well-earned space for yourself. And use your palm in front of your face or heart. Press yourself up and get into that grounding forearm. You can start with a bend in the legs. Might be enough. For me on this side, it's a little more challenging. There's a lot more sensation. So you might need to take a few breaths before you go deeper. It could be that depth is experienced with longer legs. And what I really love to do with this real power of our breath is just send it into these pockets of the rib cage that are getting more space. And literally feel how you send a breath in and through there, how that manufactures this kind of bigger stretch, this more pronounced feeling in the body. might be just fine in the sensation that you're experiencing, or you might want to go deeper. And using that grounding forearms hand, you could press up. And if you press up, there's a kind of leaning into that shoulder and just getting pretty decent opening in your stretch here. Take about one more huge breath in and out. Yeah, that big. And then exhale out. If you're high up, come back down to where you were. Extend the legs long. And bring your top leg out, slow and steady. It's mostly long. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Long your bottom leg in line with your spine, and then lie down onto your back body to manufacture this twist as best as you can. So there's an effort, I guess you would say, to put the shoulder blades grounded onto the ground. If that isn't perfect as well, if that isn't happening, quote unquote, right? You find the sensation of the twist, and that may be enough. You might have that hand touch the top leg. And then you might bend the bottom leg and bring the shoelaces into your hand to hold on to and kind of kick the bottom knee back a little more. Even in the twist, could you imagine a breath in, rising the belly, and then the heart? And if it rised the belly and then the heart through the inhale, could it fall the belly first and then the heart through the exhale? 3 more breaths. If you're holding on to that foot with your shoelaces tucked into your hand, release that slow. Make that bottom leg long again. And roll back over onto your side body to pick up your shoulder. And bend the top leg. Bring it back in. Put the soles of the feet on the mat. Oh. Center your hips, your sacrum down, long legs. Heels wide. Palms open. Shavasana. Take a whole breath in to rise your chest. And as you commit to Shavasana, close your eyes on the breath out. And then be like Sunday-like things. A real commitment to being here as long as you can to fill your cup, to hug your body, to meet your day. I want to thank you for joining me today with this YIN practice. Take your time. It's never a great idea to rush out of yoga, especially out of a YIN practice. So be aware of hugging in that energy that we've built for ourselves to meet our day. Even if you've got a lot on your plate, you can do it from a place of grounding and simplicity, one breath at a time. Lots of love, you guys. Namaste.